Nobody was supposed to see this footage, and that's exactly why it changes everything. Because what just leaked online from a night Offset was shot outside that Florida casino is not just another blurry clip, it's a moment-by-moment breakdown that completely destroys the official story we were told. At first, everyone thought it was simple, a random altercation, a sudden burst of violence. Offset caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. But this new footage? It doesn't match any of that. Instead, what you see in those shaky seconds is something far more disturbing, people running in different directions like they already knew something was coming, security reacting too late, and a split-second moment that shows Offset wasn't just standing there by chance. And then comes the part that freezes everything. A figure in the background, completely ignored in the first wave of reports, standing still while chaos unfolds around them. Now the internet is asking one terrifying question. Was Offset really the target? Or just part of something much bigger that was already in motion before the first shot was ever fired? Because if this footage is real, then the entire narrative collapses in seconds. And what investigators are now quietly reviewing behind closed doors might reveal a truth nobody is ready to hear. Let's break it all down. To understand why this new footage has shaken the internet to its core, you first need to understand the world Offset comes from, because nothing about his life has ever been simple, quiet, or safe. Offset, born Kiari Kendrell Cephas, didn't grow up in luxury or protection. He grew up in an environment where survival came first and fame came second if it came at all. Long before stadium tours and global recognition, there was only Atlanta pressure, street tension, and the constant feeling that one wrong move could change everything forever. And somehow, out of that chaos, he built one of the most influential rap movements of the last decade. But fame didn't remove danger from his life. It only amplified it. Because once Offset became part of Migos, alongside Quavo and Takeoff, the stakes changed completely. They weren't just rappers anymore. They were a cultural explosion. Hits like Versace and Bad and Bougie didn't just top charts, they reshaped an entire generation of sound. But behind the success, there was always tension bubbling underneath. Money disputes, loyalty questions, industry pressure, and a lifestyle where trust was always fragile. And then came the most devastating chapter of all, Takeoff's death. That moment didn't just break hearts, it broke structure. Takeoff was the calm one, the silent force, the member who avoided conflict while everything around him escalated. His death outside a Houston bowling alley didn't just shock the industry, it permanently changed Offset's emotional state. From that point on, everything around him carried a different weight, like the world itself had become more unstable. And now, years later, that same instability seems to have followed him into this new chapter. Because Offset's life outside music has always been just as loud as his career. His relationship with Cardi B became one of the most watched, most chaotic celebrity relationships in modern entertainment. Breakups, reconciliations, public arguments, emotional posts, nothing stayed private for long. Every disagreement became global news within minutes. But even that relationship wasn't the only source of pressure. Legal troubles, public feuds, financial rumors, and industry tension followed him constantly. At different points in his career, Offset has been arrested, investigated, and publicly questioned in ways that kept his name permanently attached to controversy. And yet, despite all of that, he continued moving forward. Albums, performances, collaborations, and public appearances kept him in the spotlight, even when the pressure behind the scenes kept growing heavier. But what nobody fully understood until now is how many unresolved conflicts were still active in the background. Because over the past year, Offset's name has been linked to multiple public disagreements that never truly died down, especially involving figures from the rap industry who openly challenge him online. Money claims, gambling rumors, disrespect accusations, all of it slowly built a cloud of tension that never fully disappeared. And this is where everything starts connecting back to the footage. Because what looked like a normal casino visit on the surface now appears far more complicated when placed into context. Casinos, past money disputes, public online arguments, and now a violent incident captured on leaked footage. It all starts forming a pattern that feels too specific to ignore, especially when you consider the exact location. The Seminole Hard Rock Casino in Florida isn't just a random stop. It's a high-traffic, high-risk environment where celebrities, athletes, and industry figures often cross paths under unpredictable circumstances. And according to multiple online claims, some verified, many not, this location has already been linked to previous disputes involving high-profile names, which makes the footage even more suspicious. Because now people aren't just asking what happened to Offset, they're asking why that place and why that moment. And most importantly, why certain individuals were allegedly nearby when things escalated. At the center of all this confusion is a growing belief online that what happened outside that casino wasn't spontaneous at all, but connected to unresolved tensions that had been building for months, possibly even longer. But at this stage, nothing is confirmed. And that uncertainty is exactly what makes everything feel more dangerous. Because in situations like this, silence is never neutral, it's often strategic. And as investigators continue reviewing surveillance angles, phone activity, and eyewitness statements, one thing is becoming clear behind the scenes. The official version of events might only be the surface of a much deeper story. And what happened next at that casino is where everything starts to break open. The night of April 6, 2026, was supposed to be just another high-profile appearance in Hollywood, Florida, but what unfolded outside the seminal Hard Rock Casino has now become one of the most dissected and controversial incidents in modern hip-hop history. Offset had arrived with a small entourage, according to multiple leaked reports circulating online. At first, everything looked routine. Luxury vehicles pulling up, security scanning the area, cameras capturing the usual celebrity presence. Nothing about the moment screamed danger. But insiders now claim there were signs long before the shooting ever happened, signs that only make sense in hindsight. Witnesses describe a sudden shift in energy near the valet area. Conversations that were once casual reportedly turned tense. Security guards began repositioning themselves. Phones came out. And then, according to fragmented accounts, Offset appeared to lock eyes with someone across the lot. That exact second has now become the most replayed moment in every leaked video breakdown online. Because seconds later, everything exploded. Gunfire broke the illusion of normalcy instantly. People scattered in every direction. Luxury cars were abandoned mid-valet. Security attempted to push civilians behind cover while flashing lights from emergency vehicles turned the entire scene into chaos. It wasn't just panic, it was controlled chaos, like something had been triggered on purpose. But the first major twist didn't come from the shooting itself. It came from what was captured before it. In newly surfaced, shaky footage circulating on social media, a hooded individual is seen standing unusually still near the side entrance of the casino. Unlike others, this figure does not move when the tension rises. They don't run when voices escalate. They simply observe. And then, just moments before the shots ring out, that figure steps backward into the shadows. This detail alone has ignited a firestorm online, because no official police statement has acknowledged this person. And yet, multiple zoom-enhanced breakdowns of the footage now suggest that this unidentified individual may have been communicating with someone inside the valet area using a phone or hand signal moments before the shooting began. This is where the story takes its first shocking turn. Leaked social media posts allegedly tied to individuals close to the scene began circulating within hours of the incident. One anonymous post read, "He wasn't the target at first, he walked into something already in motion." Another cryptic message added fuel to the chaos. Wrong timing, wrong place, or perfect setup. But the most disturbing development came when hospital-related rumors began to spread. According to unverified insider claims, Offset allegedly recognized something, or someone, during the immediate aftermath of the shooting. Witnesses at the hospital described him as visibly shaken, not just injured, repeatedly asking one question: was he there? No official confirmation exists for this statement, but its spread online has intensified speculation that this was not a random act of violence, but a prearranged confrontation that spiraled out of control. Then came the second shockwave. A leaked audio fragment, now widely debated for authenticity, appears to capture a short exchange just seconds before the chaos begins. The audio is unclear, distorted, but one phrase stands out repeatedly in fan analysis videos. "Tell him it's done." If real, This single line completely reframes everything, because it suggests intent, planning, coordination, and suddenly, the narrative shifts from casino shooting incident to something far more calculated and personal. By the time police secured the area, the situation had already evolved beyond a simple crime scene. Multiple individuals were detained for questioning, but official reports remain inconsistent about who was involved and what roles they played. Even more confusing, conflicting media claims began surfacing, some suggesting additional celebrities may have been nearby, others completely denying it. And just when the situation couldn't get more unstable, another twist hit. A second, higher-resolution clip leaked showing what appears to be Offset stepping toward a direction seconds before the shooting begins. Not away from danger, but toward it. That movement has divided the internet completely. Some say it shows confidence, others believe it suggests he was meeting someone he knew. Either way, it changes the entire interpretation of the event. Because now, the question is no longer just what happened. It's becoming what was supposed to happen and who changed the outcome. And as investigators quietly review surveillance footage from multiple angles, one detail keeps repeating across every leaked frame. The unidentified hooded figure is never seen, leaving the area on camera. Which leads directly into the next terrifying question. If they didn't leave the scene, then where are they now? As the investigation into Offset's shooting intensifies, the story is no longer confined to a single chaotic night outside a Florida casino. It has now spiraled into something much larger, darker, and far more unpredictable. What initially looked like an isolated incident is now being treated as a multi-layered confrontation involving hidden tensions, digital evidence leaks, and a growing list of unanswered questions that refuse to settle. Within hours of the first wave of footage spreading online, new angles began surfacing from private security cameras and cell phone recordings. These clips, though blurry and fragmented, appear to contradict earlier assumptions about how the incident unfolded. One version shows Offset entering the valet area calmly, but another clip, circulating among online investigators, appears to show him hesitating before stepping forward, as if he recognized something off-camera. That single moment has now become the center of endless speculation, because shortly after these clips surfaced, the narrative took a dramatic turn. Anonymous social media accounts began posting alleged insider summaries claiming the situation was not spontaneous at all, but instead part of a pre-existing chain of conflicts involving financial disputes, personal threats, and long-standing resentment between multiple figures in the hip-hop industry. While none of these claims are verified, their timing and consistency have only fueled public suspicion. One viral post read, "This wasn't random. This was scheduled energy that went wrong in real time." Another added, "They were all supposed to meet, but not everyone was supposed to walk away from it." At the same time, a new name began trending alongside Offset's, Lil TJ. Previously mentioned only in connection to separate online feuds, his alleged presence near the casino has now become one of the most controversial talking points in the entire case. Some online analysts claim a blurred vehicle resembling one associated with his circle was seen briefly in the background of extended footage. However, law enforcement has made no official connection between him and the shooting, and his representatives have remained completely silent. That silence, in the court of public opinion, has only intensified the chaos. Meanwhile, entertainment news outlets began reporting conflicting narratives about what actually triggered the confrontation. Some sources suggest a heated verbal exchange escalated into violence within seconds. Others claim there may have been a planned meeting gone wrong, where multiple parties arrived expecting a negotiation, but instead encountered betrayal. Then came the second shocking reveal. A supposed leaked audio clip, currently being analyzed by online communities, surfaced late in the night. Though heavily distorted, it contains fragments of conversation that have sent shockwaves through social media. Among the clearest audible phrases is, "He wasn't supposed to be here yet," and another, even more chilling line, "Now it's out of control." If authentic, the audio suggests that whoever orchestrated the meeting did not anticipate Offset arriving at the exact moment he did, or that someone else arrived earlier than expected. This revelation completely changes the tone of the incident. It is no longer being viewed as a simple confrontation. Instead, it is being framed as a situation that broke containment, a plan, agreement, or setup that collapsed the moment timing went wrong. As speculation grows, celebrities and industry figures have begun reacting indirectly. Some posted cryptic messages about watching your surroundings and trust being dangerous in this game, while others have chosen complete silence, which fans are interpreting as even more suspicious. One rapper posted, "Every story got three sides, there's yours and what really happened." That post alone received millions of interactions within hours. Behind the scenes, sources claim that investigators are now reviewing not just casino surveillance footage, but also digital communications leading up to the night of the shooting. This includes encrypted messages, deleted DMs, and location data from multiple individuals who were allegedly in the vicinity. And here's where things take another unsettling turn. A reconstructed timeline being circulated online suggests that several key individuals arrived at the casino within a narrow 20-minute window, each entering from different directions, none appearing to interact before the incident. This has led some analysts to believe the confrontation was not accidental, but rather the result of intersecting plans that were never meant to collide. One investigative breakdown even suggests the possibility that Offset was not the primary target initially, but became the center of the chaos due to unexpected timing. That theory, while unconfirmed, has gained massive traction online. And just when the public thought the story couldn't deepen further, another detail emerged from leaked witness statements. Multiple people at the scene reportedly described seeing a hooded figure near the valet area again, this time moving in a different direction than previously seen footage suggested. This raises a terrifying possibility. Was there more than one unidentified individual involved? Or is the footage being manipulated, either by perspective distortion or something more intentional? As of now, authorities have not confirmed any new suspects and official statements remain limited. But internally, the tone of the investigation appears to have shifted. What was once labeled a shooting incident is now being treated as a complex, multi-person event with potential pre-planning elements. And yet, the biggest question still remains unanswered. If this was truly a planned encounter gone wrong, who was actually controlling the plan in the first place? Because every new clip, every leaked message, and every conflicting report seems to point toward one uncomfortable truth. Someone knew more than they are saying. And the next wave of evidence might finally reveal who. The moment the new footage of Offset's shooting hit the internet, the story stopped being just an incident report and turned into a full-scale digital war. Within minutes, social media didn't just react, it detonated. Hashtags like #OffsetFootage, #CasinoShooting, and #WhatReallyHappened started trending simultaneously across X, Instagram, and TikTok. But what made this different from a normal celebrity controversy was the speed of contradiction. Every new clip seemed to destroy the previous explanation. Fans were no longer just watching a story unfold, they were actively trying to rebuild it. And that's where things became dangerous. One group of users began posting frame-by-frame breakdowns of the footage, zooming into background figures, reflections in car windows, and even shadow movements near the valet area. These videos started getting millions of views, with captions like, "This detail changes everything," and "The camera caught what the police didn't say." Meanwhile, another group of fans aggressively pushed back, accusing the internet of turning a serious violent incident into a conspiracy circus. One viral comment read, "Not everything is a hidden plot. A man got shot. Stop turning trauma into entertainment." But the divide only grew deeper. Celebrity reactions added even more fuel to the fire. Some artists posted vague messages like, "Praying for everybody involved. This industry is getting too dark." Others went completely silent, which ironically triggered even more speculation. Fans started interpreting silence as coded awareness, claiming that those closest to the situation knew more than they were willing to say publicly. Then came the industry insiders. Anonymous accounts claiming to be affiliated with music executives began posting cryptic statements such as, "This wasn't random energy. It was built over time." And too many people were in the wrong place at the exact wrong second. One particularly viral post claimed, Because now the biggest question is no longer who is involved. It is how much of the truth has already been seen but not officially acknowledged. One final detail has pushed the situation into full-blown uncertainty. A source claiming to have access to internal review footage alleges that one of the unidentified figures seen near the valet area never reappears in any exit footage from surrounding cameras. In simple terms, they were captured entering the scene but never clearly seen leaving it. That single claim has reignited fear, confusion, and speculation at the highest level. Because if true, it means someone connected to this moment has effectively vanished from every recorded angle available. And that raises a chilling possibility. Was this really just a shooting that went wrong? Or is there still someone out there who is never meant to be identified in the first place? As investigators continue piecing together fragmented evidence, the public is left with more questions than answers. Every new update seems to remove certainty instead of adding it. Every clip feels incomplete. Every statement feels carefully limited. And Offset, at the center of it all, remains the one figure connecting every version of the story, yet somehow still surrounded by missing pieces. The footage may have changed the narrative, but it also opened a door that no one seems ready to fully step through. Because the most unsettling truth of all might be this: what the public has seen so far may only be a fraction of what actually happened that night. And the next leak, whenever it arrives, could finally reveal who has been controlling the story from the shadows all along. Now the real question is sitting in front of you, and there's no easy answer. Because after all the leaked footage, the distorted audio, the mysterious figures, and the conflicting reports, one thing is clear: this story is far from over. In fact, it might only just be starting. So, I need you to tell me what you believe happened that night. Do you think Offset was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time, caught in a random escalation that spiraled out of control? Or do you believe this new footage proves something much darker was already in motion long before the first shot was fired? And let's go even deeper. Who do you think that unidentified figure really is? A bystander, a setup participant, or something the public has not even been told exists yet? Drop your theory in the comments, because the internet is already divided, and your answer might line up with what millions of others are starting to suspect. If you want more deep breakdowns like this, where every frame, every leak, and every hidden detail gets exposed, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications right now. Because the next update on this case isn't just going to add details, it might completely flip everything you think you know. And when it drops, you do not want to be the one hearing it last. If you knew what was happening behind the scenes, this footage would make perfect sense. That post alone was shared over 200,000 times in a single hour. News outlets attempted to regain control of the narrative, but even mainstream reporting struggled to maintain consistency. Some headlines described the event as a casino altercation gone wrong, while others cautiously used phrases like possible targeted incident under review. The inconsistency only made the public more suspicious. Meanwhile, streaming platforms and content creators rushed to capitalize on the chaos. YouTube breakdown channels began uploading instant analysis videos with titles like "Offset Shooting Footage Explained," "What They're Not Telling You," and "This One Clip Proves It Was Planned." These videos blurred the line between analysis and speculation, but that didn't stop millions of viewers from consuming them as truth. Then came the emotional wave. Fans who have followed Offset's career for years began resurfacing old clips, his interviews, his family moments with Cardi B, his performances with Migos, and especially tributes to Takeoff. The tone of the conversation shifted from curiosity to fear. Because suddenly, this wasn't just about one night.
It was about a pattern.
People began connecting dots between past incidents, past feuds, and past moments of violence surrounding the hip-hop industry as a whole. Some users even started claiming the footage represents something larger than Offset himself, a symbol of instability within the culture. One viral post read, "This isn't about Offset. It's about how close everyone is to the edge." That sentiment resonated widely, but not everyone agreed. Critics argued that the internet was creating meaning where there was none, turning a tragic situation into entertainment-driven paranoia. They pointed out that no official investigation had confirmed any of the theories circulating online, and that misinformation was spreading faster than facts. Still, the momentum was unstoppable. Even neutral observers found themselves pulled into the debate, refreshing feeds constantly as new clips, claims, and alleged insider leaks surfaced every few minutes. And just when it seemed like the conversation couldn't escalate further, a new piece of information dropped that completely shifted public perception again. A supposed eyewitness account began circulating, claiming that before the shooting, Offset was seen speaking briefly with someone off camera in a calm but intense exchange. According to the Post, the conversation did not look aggressive, but it also did not look casual. The witness described it as like two people who understood something without saying it out loud. That description alone reignited every theory instantly. Was this planned? Was this a misunderstanding? Or was this something far more personal than anyone realized? As the internet spiraled deeper into theories, one truth became undeniable. The public was no longer waiting for official answers. They were building their own. And the more unanswered questions appeared, the more the situation stopped looking like a single event and started looking like a story with missing chapters still waiting to be revealed. Because the most unsettling part wasn't what people had seen in the footage, it was what they still hadn't seen yet. As the investigation continues behind closed doors, the story surrounding Offset's shooting has reached a point where even the most confident theories are starting to collapse under their own weight. Every new leak, every new angle, and every resurfaced clip is no longer clarifying the situation. It is multiplying the confusion. And then came the moment that completely changed the direction of everything. A newly surfaced extended surveillance file, reportedly pulled from a secondary casino camera system, shows a sequence of events that was never included in the initial public reports. In this version of the footage, the timeline doesn't begin with chaos, it begins with waiting. Offset is seen standing still for several seconds longer than previously shown, not moving toward the valet area immediately, but pausing as if he is anticipating something. That pause has now become one of the most analyzed moments in the entire case. Because what happens next is even more disturbing. A second individual, previously blurred in earlier clips, is now clearly visible entering the frame from a separate angle. But instead of approaching aggressively or fleeing, this person appears to adjust their position, as if aligning themselves with someone else already in the area. And that's when the most shocking detail emerges. According to enhanced frame analysis being shared online, Offset's body language shifts the instant this individual comes into view. Not fear, not confusion, recognition. He turns his head directly toward them. No hesitation, no delay, just a direct reaction, as if he knew exactly who it was. Seconds later, the footage cuts into the moment of gunfire. But what happens after the shots is what has now sent the internet into complete chaos. In a newly leaked audio fragment, circulating through anonymous accounts, a low, distorted voice can be heard saying something that investigators have not confirmed publicly. This wasn't supposed to go like this. Followed by another phrase, even more chilling. He saw everything. If this audio is authentic, it completely reframes the entire narrative, because it suggests Offset wasn't just present during the incident. He may have witnessed something he was never meant to see. And suddenly, the story is no longer about a shooting. It becomes about exposure, about timing, about something that went wrong in a plan that was already in motion. As expected, the internet exploded again. Some users claim this proves the incident was targeted. Others argue the audio could be manipulated or entirely fabricated. But the damage is already done. The perception of certainty is gone, replaced by something far more dangerous: doubt with evidence fragments attached. Meanwhile, law enforcement remains silent on the newly circulating materials. No confirmation, no denial, just controlled statements about an ongoing and complex investigation. And that silence is making everything worse.